where level ones could like up your dimensions.
Oh, tell me about it. When I go and visit, it kills me to not be able to give people plus ones. And, you know, I should make the effort to level some guys up, but I'm just too lazy for that. It takes away from building. So this is a zone that takes a second to load when you come in on my building, but this is Edgestone Ridge, and I did use a different entry point here because it enters clear on the other side on the docks. Um, and yep, my horse. This was the very last thing that I built in this dimension, and I had no intention of putting a horse in. But honestly, I was trying to figure out. I really, really, really want to build a suit of armor. And in the library, that's what I was trying to accomplish, was a suit of armor, and I was using tons of different items to try to figure it out, and these Brevane sculptures were one, and when I was moving it around and syncing it, they just kept making me think of the legs of a horse, and so I was like, I'm obviously not going to figure out this suit of armor thing, and then I just decided to try to figure out a horse.
I agree, Poppy. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Very unusual, too. I love how you gave it like a rainbow kind of mane.
That's a feather from the feather pen. It's the same thing I used for the for some reason. Oh, it's one side of it looks rainbowy and the other side of it's black. Sometimes I have to get over things like, the horse having different colors, like its chest is different, and and it's. But I just decided that artistic interpretation, I would leave it at that.
Well, if it's Frankenstein, you would think that would fit in perfectly because he would have built himself a horse.
I didn't even think about that. So something that I think is kind of funny about this dim is that I learned that a lot of people came in and saw all of this area and went to the library and never went up to the lab. And I was like, I wonder how many people came in here and was like, why the heck is that place called Frankenstein? It's just a house.
I figured,
Anyway,
I figured,
this is
I figured you had it hidden in here, so I actually took the time and kind of wandered around to see if I could find the hidden laboratory, because it wouldn't be like right in your face. Because I mean, honestly, he would have had it hidden.
and I purposely did that, and I had reservations about it because I am kind of obvious about stuff like that usually, but I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna hide it. Anyway, the outside of the castle is, it's literally just a facade. So there's no true structure to that. I guess, should I be giving my secrets away? It's not really a secret. I'm sure people can tell that. It's just a facade. And then once I go inside, I build the walls and the ceilings, and it doesn't really have any. It's not included in the actual structure, so I just enclose it when I come inside. That's, like I said, I'm not a good architect. I just have to build from the interior for the space that I'm trying to make.
It's actually a
But
good
like
idea.
I said before, it's actually
I'm gonna have to try that
like
because
I
I
have.
don't
I'm gonna have to.
build.
Yeah. You know what? The other thing that's nice about doing facade work, though, too, in my opinion, and not an actual structure, is that it's a lot easier to sink things into the walls and into the floors and use them that way. When um, when you make a full actual structure, it's a lot harder to be able to do those things. So I like it. And then in here, I did make a lot of like fake doorways and stairways, and the purpose for that is because obviously from the outside it's this big castle, and so I want to at least give the thought that there's more to the structure than what I actually decorated. And I love the floors in here. This was just the outside docking of this zone and those statues. And even though I used some of the Brevane trophy items in here, a lot of this Bravane looking stuff was already part of the zone.
That would have to help with your item count too, being able to incorporate this stuff into the build.
Yeah. And when I do, I like to try to incorporate, when there is pre-made stuff, I do like to try to somehow figure out a way to incorporate it into what I'm doing. The Throne of Snow is the only one that I didn't do that with, and that was because that was the point of that build. So here are my fake stairs to make so that it looks like there's multiple levels to the castle. I had to take the fire out of my fireplace yesterday or the day before to add footprints from the desk to the lab because I had learned that so many people were missing it. And then again, here's some more facade work to the side there. That's just a wall that I put up specifically just to hide what was going on behind it, which is a big mess behind the scenes. It's like the set of a, movie or a TV show. Don't go behind the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just meant to be a view out the window.
I can tell you I tried going up those stairs and I was like, okay, it's either blocked or it's something with height again because I've gotten stuck before trying to go out doorways and stuff. I guess because my tune is taller.
Well, there isn't even really a ceiling up there. It's like if you went up there, you would see outside.
I just figured if I was going to find some way to break something,
Well, see, my husband comes in and tries to break everything before I'll post it. He tries to jump through every window and every wall and every little nook and cranny or space he tries to get it. It's like, stop it. You're not even looking at what I did.
But you know what? Entering a dimension contest or anything like that, that's exactly what whoever is hosting it is going to do, is to try to jump through everything. So that's good that he's doing that for you.
Sure, that's why he's doing it. I liked the way that this little window view turned out. So these are the footprints that I added. And the guild that I'm in, Thol and Shaylaloon, they're the guild leaders. They're a couple, and I love their dimensions. And we toured each other's dimensions like a month or so ago, and just kind of chatted up a little bit. And I was in a guild of my own, just by myself for a really long time. It was the guild that all of my friends and I made at Rift launch. And then again, like I said, it was just me and my husband and another friend that came back a while back, so we've just been in our lonely little guild. And then when they both stopped playing Rift again because I wouldn't get out of my dimension, I've just been playing by myself. So they just had a really clever shout post for their guild, and I wasn't looking, and I decided to join it. It's super awesome. They're totally awesome. But anyway, long story short, they used these footprints in a few of their dimensions, and I was like, that is going to be perfect for the people who are missing my lab. So they said, go ahead. This stairway and the walls around it was actually really, really hard to build, even though it pretty much still looks like crap. But I just figured it's going to be rusted.
Well, you would think over time, coming back and forth on the stairs anyways, it would do something like that and wear into the stone, so it actually fits. Now, when I came up here and saw this, I was just like, oh my god, I love it.
So people is not something that I used to do in EQ2. So this level of morphing is something that I just started doing in this game. And again, seriously, it just came from, it honestly was initially inspired by the princesses that Hyerma did. And then I just decided to kind of take it beyond that. And I knew that I wanted to make Dr. Frankenstein. And so after I built the facade structure, before I decorated or did anything else, because I needed to make sure I had enough item count for this lab, That's why it's a little bit sparse downstairs because I use so much in here. I had to just kind of decorate downstairs and not do much more beyond that. But I built him first, and I actually built him outside downstairs, and then I had to save him as a set and bring him up here because I wasn't really sure, how the lab was going to turn out at that time. I don't, like I said, I don't have a lot of specific. I have an idea, but I never have any specifics down when I build. I just do it as I go. But I was particularly proud of his steampunk glasses.
The whole lab is just great details, really. I love Renfield. I love that he's going all crazy and, turning dials and stuff.
Igor, is it Renfield or Igor?
Could be both.
Maybe it's different in different stories. Well, anyway, I actually wasn't very happy with the way that he turned out. I feel like he looks more like the Wicked Witch in Sleeping Beauty when she's bringing the apples. But oh well.
I was thinking Young Frankenstein when I saw this. If you've seen the that movie.
Yeah. Well, that movie. Yeah, and I was honestly going back and forth whether I was going to make just a legitimate Frankenstein slab or if I was going to try to do it based off of Young Frankenstein. But when I was looking at screenshots of both movies, honestly, as far as the aesthetic of them went, it was very, very similar. So I couldn't figure out a way to make my Frankenstein look like Young Frankenstein. So I just decided to go with the straight, regular Frankenstein. His disheveled, crazy Dr. Desk. So I spent several weeks on this dimension too, but when I finished it, I decided that I wanted to try to make a Bride of Frankenstein, just because I like the idea of trying to make the bride herself, and I already knew that I wanted to use the air thingies, whatever the we'll go look and whatever those things are called that all of the elements have in the dimensions for her hair. And I had the intention of making it a serious dimension, but then when I made her little outfit ended up reminding me of like some 1950s dress with pearls, and I was like, okay, this dim has changed.
So Salar's saying,
so want to go to,
Salar's saying amazing morphs, and Poppy's saying that guy by the buttons looks so shifty. Salar's also saying he does a lot of fake half buildings too, and you're kind of forced to build that way in dimensions, item limits, and stuff.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and go to Bride of Frankenstein. So this is another dimension, another auction